smiled when people asked me, "Are you okay today?" I said, "I'm fine, I'm doing well," then quietly walked away. Nobody knew the battles that I carried in my heart. Nobody saw the nights when I was falling apart. I waited until everyone slept, then I started to cry. I whispered, "Lord, I'm hurting," and I looked up to the sky. I had no words to explain it, no strength left to pretend. But somehow in that silence, I knew you were my friend. Nobody saw my tears, but you saw everyone. Nobody heard my crying, but you heard every prayer. When I thought I was alone, you were standing beside me. When I couldn't hold myself, your hands were holding me. I cried in secret, but God saw every tear. I called your name in silence, and I knew that you were near. When nobody understood me, you understood my heart. When I thought my hope was gone, you gave me a brand new start. I cried in secret, but you never looked away. You saw every broken moment, and you carried me each day. There were prayers I couldn't speak, there were feelings I couldn't explain. I only had my tears to offer, so I gave them to your name. I asked you for an answer, but sometimes you said wait. I couldn't see what you were doing, but I trusted you by faith. Some nights felt so endless, some mornings felt so hard, but every time I opened my eyes, I knew you had not left my side. You saw the tears I wiped away before anyone could see. You heard the prayers I could only whisper. You knew the pain I never told anybody, and still you stayed with me. I cried in secret, but God saw every tear. I called your name in silence, and I knew that you were near. When nobody understood me, you understood my heart. When I thought my hope was gone, you gave me a brand new start. I cried in secret, but you never looked away. You saw every broken moment, and you carried me each day. I remember Hannah praying with tears upon her face. People misunderstood her, but God still knew her pain. She didn't have the answers, she only had a prayer. But she poured out all her heart, because she knew that God was there. And when her season changed, she understood God's grace. The tears she cried in secret became a testimony of faith. I remember David hiding, running from his enemies. There were moments he was frightened, there were moments he felt weak. But David kept on calling, Lord, hear my cry. And God became his shelter when there was nowhere else to hide. Maybe that's why I'm still standing, maybe that's why I'm still here, because God was my protection when I was drowning in my tears. Every tear had a purpose, every prayer had a place, every lonely night was covered by your grace. You were there when I was hurting, you were there when I was weak, you were there when I had nothing, and you heard the words I couldn't speak. So I lift my hands to you. Thank you for seeing me, thank you for knowing me, thank you for staying with me, thank you for every tear that fell upon my pillow, thank you for every night you carried me through, thank you for the days when I thought I couldn't continue. You were there. You never left, you never stopped loving me. I cried in secret, but God saw every tear.